Rayan lived in a small town near the edge of a wide desert. The town was quiet and calm. People knew each other, and life was slow. Rayan worked as a mechanic. He loved fixing old cars and machines. Every day he woke up early, drank his tea, and went to work in his little garage. He liked his simple life, far from big cities and noise. One evening, when the sun was going down and the sky was orange, Rayan saw something strange. Far in the desert, there was a bright light falling from the sky. It looked like a big ball of fire. It came closer and closer, and then it landed with a loud noise. The ground shook a little, and dust flew everywhere. Rayan was surprised. He had never seen anything like this before. Curious, Rayan decided to go and check what had fallen. He took his flashlight and walked carefully into the desert. The air was dry and hot even at night. When he reached the place where the light had landed, he saw a strange object. It was a ship, but unlike any plane or car he had ever seen. It was shiny and made of metal that looked alive. It had smooth curves and glowing lines. Rayan walked slowly around the ship. Suddenly, a door opened with a soft hiss. A tall woman stepped out. She was not like any human. Her skin was pale blue and her eyes were large and silver. She wore armor that covered her from head to toe. The armor looked strong and heavy. She moved with strength and grace. Rayan stopped and looked at her carefully. The woman looked tired and hurt. She had cuts on her arm and her breathing was fast. She saw Rayan and raised her hand. "Who are you?" she asked in a strong voice. Rayan was surprised to hear her speak perfect English, but with a strange accent. "I'm Rayan. I live nearby. Are you okay? What happened?" he asked. The woman did not answer right away. She looked around nervously. "My name is Asera. I am a warrior from Velkaris. My ship was attacked. I need help to repair it. You must obey me." Her voice was firm, like a queen giving orders. Rayan smiled lightly. He was not afraid. "I'm just a mechanic, not a soldier. But I can help you if you want," he said. Asera looked at him as if he was crazy. "You dare talk to me like that? I am a noble warrior. You are just a weak human," she said loudly, her eyes flashing. Rayan laughed softly. "I'm weak? Maybe. But I'm not scared. And I don't take orders from strangers." He wanted to show her he was not an easy person to scare. Asera frowned and crossed her arms. "You will regret this. I will make you obey me. You will be my mate. You will be mine," she said with a proud and angry voice. Rayan blinked. He was not sure if she was joking or serious. "Your mate? Like, married? You barely know me, and—" "You want me to be your mate?" he asked, confused. Asera's face turned red with anger and embarrassment. "You mock me! I will show you my power!" She raised her hand, and suddenly a small energy ball appeared above her palm. It glowed bright and warm. Rayan stepped back, careful but curious. "Okay, that's cool, but I'm not impressed," he said, trying to stay calm. Asera's energy ball disappeared quickly. She was frustrated. "You are stronger than you look. This is not over," she said. Rayan nodded. "I don't want to fight. I just want to help you fix your ship," he said. Asera looked around again. "Very well. But don't forget what I said. You will be mine," she said with a warning tone. Rayan watched as Asera slowly walked to the ship. She touched the metal with her hands. She looked sad and tired. Rayan felt a little sorry for her. Despite her proud words, she was lost and hurt on this strange planet. He decided to help. "Come with me. You can rest at my house," he said gently. Asera hesitated. She was not used to kindness from others. On Velkaris, people obeyed her or feared her. But here, Rayan was calm and kind, without fear. That confused her. Finally, she nodded. I will stay for now, but remember, I am a warrior. I will not be your servant, she said. Rayan smiled. I'm not asking you to be a servant, just a guest. They walked together through the desert. The night was quiet except for their steps on the sand. Rayan thought about how strange and wonderful this was. An alien warrior in his small town. At his home, Rayan gave her water and some food. Asera sat silently, watching everything with sharp eyes. She did not speak much, but Rayan felt her slowly relaxing. That night, Rayan lay awake thinking about the day. He wondered what other secrets Asera's world held. He wondered how someone so strong could feel so alone. Asera looked out the window at the stars. She missed her home, but something about this human made her feel different. She was proud and fierce, but here she felt small. Both of them were far from where they belonged, but something was beginning between them. It was strange and new, a connection that neither understood yet. After the first night, Asera stayed at Rayan's small home near the desert. The morning sun came slowly, warm and soft. Rayan was already up, making tea in the kitchen. Asera sat quietly in the living room, looking at everything with curiosity and some cold pride. She was a warrior, strong and proud. On her planet Velkaris, she was respected and feared, but here she felt weak. The Earth's air made her tired and slower. Her armor, which was usually her strength, now felt heavy and uncomfortable. She missed her ship and her home, but she would never admit it. Rayan came with 2 cups of tea and sat near her. You look tired, he said gently. The air here can be hard for visitors. It takes time to get used to. Asera looked at him with sharp silver eyes. I don't need time. I will get stronger, she said. But you don't seem afraid of me. Why? Rayan smiled. I've never been afraid of people who show their true selves. You don't have to be scary all the time. Asera's face changed for a moment. She didn't know how to answer. No one had said anything like that to her before. She was used to people bowing or running away. Rayan stood up and said, Let me help you with your armor. Maybe it needs fixing, too. Asera was surprised, but didn't say no. She allowed him to take off some parts of her heavy armor. Rayan looked closely at the metal. It was different from anything he had seen, but some pieces were broken and dirty. I can help you clean and fix this, Rayan said. But I need your trust. Asera wanted to say no. She was a proud warrior, not used to depending on others. But slowly, she nodded. As Rayan worked, they talked. Asera told him about Velkaris, a planet full of mountains, bright skies, and strong warriors. She explained their customs and how important strength and honor were. Rayan listened carefully, fascinated by her stories. In return, Rayan told her about Earth, about the people, the small town, and the simple life he loved. Asera was surprised by how different and peaceful it was here. On Velkaris, life was always a fight. Days passed. Asera stayed longer than she planned. Her ship was still broken, and she needed more time to fix it. But something else was changing. Her feelings. She watched Rayan every day, how he smiled, how he helped neighbors, and how he never tried to control her. Asera had always thought that power meant forcing others to obey. But Rayan showed her something new, respect. One afternoon, Asera tried to act strong. She stood tall and said, You must obey me. I am your superior. You are weak and simple. Rayan laughed, not in a mean way, but with kindness. No, Asera, I don't obey anyone. I believe people should work together, as equals. Asera's face burned with embarrassment and anger. No one had ever spoken to her like that. She stormed out of the room, feeling confused and frustrated. Later that night, she looked at the stars and whispered, How can this human be so different? Why does he not fear me? Rayan heard her whisper, but did not answer. He was thinking too. He wanted to understand her, the alien woman who was so proud but also so lost. The next day, Asera tried again. She challenged Rayan to a test of strength in the desert. She wanted to prove she was stronger and should be obeyed. Rayan accepted. He knew she was proud and needed to show her power, but he was not afraid. The two of them stood under the hot sun. Asera's muscles were strong, but Earth's air still made her weak. Rayan was not strong like her, but he was smart and careful. They raced, jumped, and climbed. Rayan used his knowledge of the desert to win small parts of the challenge. Asera tried to use her warrior skills, but often tripped or tired quickly. By the end, both were exhausted, but Asera was the first to sit down, panting. Rayan smiled and said, "Strength is not just muscle. It's also heart and mind." Asera did not answer. She felt humiliated but also strangely proud. She was beginning to see that there was more to strength than she thought. Over the next few days, Asera stayed close to Rayan. She watched how he helped a lost child find her mother. She saw how he shared food with a hungry dog. These small acts confused her, but also touched her heart. One evening, Asera approached Rayan quietly. "I don't understand your world," she said softly. "It is not like Velkaris. People here are kind but also weak. How do they survive?" Rayan looked at her and smiled. "Kindness is not weakness, Asera. It is what makes us strong. When people care for each other, they can face anything." Asera thought about this all night. She had spent her whole life believing only in power and fear. Now, she was learning a new way, but her pride was still there, and she was not ready to admit it fully. One morning, she said to Rayan, "I will stay until my ship is fixed. But after that, I will return to Velkaris. This place is strange and weak." Rayan nodded. "I hope you stay longer. You don't have to be alone." Asera looked away, hiding a small smile. Maybe, just maybe, she was beginning to want that too. Asera stayed at Rayan's home for several more days. Each day she felt weaker from the Earth's air, but stronger in a different way, because of Rayan's kindness and the strange feeling growing inside her. She had been a great warrior on her planet, Velkaris. There, respect came from power and fear. But here, Rayan treated her like a friend, not a queen or a stranger. This confused her. She was proud, and her heart did not like feeling weak or unsure. One morning, Asera decided to test Rayan again. She wanted to remind him who she was, a powerful warrior who should be obeyed. She stood tall and said, "You will do as I say. I am your superior. You will bow to me." Rayan smiled but did not move. "I don't bow to anyone," he said simply. "I respect you, but we are equals." Asera's eyes flashed with anger and disbelief. "How dare you? On Velkaris, this would be impossible." "You would be punished," Rayan shrugged. "I am not from Velkaris. This is Earth. Here, respect is earned, not demanded." Asera did not like his words, but she could not argue with the truth. Instead, she decided to show him her power in another way. She took Rayan to the edge of the desert, where the sun was hot and the wind strong. "Watch me," she said. She raised her hands and called on the energy of her people. A glowing light surrounded her, bright and powerful. The air seemed to hum with strength. Rayan watched carefully. He felt the energy but was not afraid. "That is amazing," he said quietly. Asera smiled a little. She felt proud but also sad. The power made her feel strong, but it did not fix the loneliness inside her. Then, she made a sudden move. She challenged Rayan to a contest, who could hold their breath longest. She knew her body was weaker on Earth, but she wanted to prove something. They both held their breath. Rayan was calm and steady. Asera was fierce and proud. When she finally had to breathe, Rayan was still calm and smiling. Asera laughed, a rare sound from her. "You win this time, human. But don't think it means you are better." Rayan nodded. "I don't want to be better. I want to be friends." Asera thought about his words. Friends? Was that something she could understand? As days went by, Asera watched Rayan's daily life. He helped neighbors, fixed broken machines, and cared for animals. She saw how people in the town trusted him and loved him. That was strange to her, because on Velkaris, trust was rare and love was hard. One evening, they sat by a small fire outside Rayan's home. The stars shone above them and the desert was quiet. Asera spoke softly. "Tell me more about Earth. Why do people here help each other instead of fighting?" Rayan smiled. "Because we believe in kindness. We know that together we can survive anything. Fighting only brings pain." Asera looked at the fire and then at Rayan. "On Velkaris, fighting is honor. Without it, we are weak." Rayan reached out and touched her hand gently. "Maybe strength is more than fighting. Maybe it is also kindness and trust." Asera did not pull away. She was surprised by the warmth she felt from his touch. Her heart beat faster, and for the first time she felt something new, not anger or pride, but something softer. The next day, Asera helped Rayan fix some parts of her ship. She was not used to asking for help, but she trusted him now. Rayan worked carefully, and Asera watched with interest. She was learning patience and cooperation, but not all was easy. Asera's pride often made her act harshly. She tried to boss Rayan around, demanding he follow her orders. Rayan always refused, staying calm but firm. This made Asera angry inside, but also made her respect him more. One afternoon, Asera lost her temper. She shouted, "Why do you not obey me? I am your mate. You must listen." Rayan looked at her calmly. "I don't believe in forcing people. If we are mates, it must be because we choose each other." Asera was shocked. No one had ever talked to her like this. She felt humiliated, but also deeply moved. After that day, she spent more time alone, thinking about her feelings. She was a proud alien warrior, but now she was learning about love and respect in a new way. One night, Rayan found her looking at the stars again. He sat beside her quietly. "I don't know what will happen next," she said softly. "My people will come for me soon. They will want me to return." Rayan nodded. "And will you go?" Asera looked at him, her eyes full of pain. "I don't know. I feel torn between two worlds." Rayan smiled gently. "Whatever you choose, I will be here." Asera reached for his hand, holding it tightly. She was not sure what the future held, but she knew one thing. This human had changed her, forever. The days passed quietly, but Asera's thoughts were full of worry. She knew her people would not forget her long stay on Earth. Velkaris was a proud and strict place. Warriors who stayed too long on other planets without permission were punished. Asera's heart was heavy because she did not want to leave, but she feared what might happen if she stayed. One morning, Rayan heard a strange noise outside. He looked out and saw 3 tall, armored figures standing near his house. They wore the same armor as Asera, but their faces were serious and cold. They had come to take her back. Asera stepped outside and faced them bravely. "Why have you come?" she asked. One of the warriors spoke in a deep voice. "Asera, you have broken the laws of Velkaris. You must return immediately or face punishment." Asera looked at Rayan and then at the warriors. "I will not go yet. I am not ready." The warriors frowned. "This is not your choice. You are a warrior of Velkaris. Your duty is to obey." Rayan stepped forward calmly. "Asera is free to make her own choices. She is not a prisoner." The warriors looked at Rayan with surprise. This human speaks boldly, but this is not his world. Asera's heart beat fast. She felt both fear and strength inside her. For the first time, she stood up not just as a warrior, but as someone who had found a new home. The leader of the Velkaris warriors said, "If you refuse to return, you will lose your rank. You will be shamed before your people." Asera's eyes filled with pain. Losing her rank meant losing everything she had fought for, but staying meant choosing a life she did not fully understand. Rayan looked at her and said softly, "You don't have to choose alone. We can face this together." Asera nodded slowly. She knew Rayan was right. She was not alone anymore. The Velkaris warriors gave her one day to decide. That night, Asera and Rayan sat under the stars, talking quietly. "I have always been strong and proud," Asera said, "but now I feel different. I want to stay, but I fear what my people will say." Rayan took her hand. "You are not weak for wanting to stay. You are brave for choosing what feels right." Asera smiled sadly. "I never thought I could feel this way. You have changed me." The next morning, the Velkaris warriors returned. Asera stood before them, calm and sure. "I choose to stay on Earth," she said. "I will live here, with this human who has shown me a new way." The warriors were silent. After a moment, the leader said, "So be it. But remember, you walk a difficult path." Asera nodded. She felt relief, but also the weight of her choice. Over the next days, Asera began to live differently. She helped Rayan in his work, learning new skills. The people in the town were curious but kind. They saw a strong woman who was different but friendly. Asera's pride softened. She learned to ask for help, to listen, and to trust. Rayan taught her about patience and kindness, things she never valued before. One afternoon, Asera and Rayan were fixing a broken machine together. She smiled and said, "I never thought I would find peace here." Rayan looked at her warmly. "Peace is something we create together." Asera looked at him and saw not just a friend, but someone she cared for deeply. But old feelings of pride and fear sometimes returned. One day, she found herself shouting at Rayan, demanding he follow her orders. "You must obey me. I am your mate." Rayan stayed calm. Being mates means respect and love, not control. Asera felt ashamed. She had almost lost the new trust they built. She took a deep breath and said, "I am sorry. I am learning. Slowly." Rayan smiled. "We are both learning." Their bond grew stronger with each day, built on respect, trust, and understanding. Asera had chosen a new path, one where love and kindness mattered more than power and fear. After Asera decided to stay on Earth, her life began to change in many ways. She was no longer just a proud warrior from Velkaris. She was becoming someone new. She learned to live without her heavy armor all the time and tried to enjoy the simple things Rayan loved. Every morning, Rayan would wake up early and start his work in the small garage. Asera joined him, eager to help. She was strong and quick, but she had much to learn about Earth's tools and machines. Rayan patiently taught her, showing her how things worked and how to fix broken parts. Asera listened carefully and asked many questions. She wanted to learn not just to help, but to be a part of this new world. The people in the town noticed Asera's change. At first, they were scared of her because she looked different. But as days passed, they saw how kind she was. She helped with small jobs, fixed machines, and even played with children. The children were fascinated by her tall figure and bright silver eyes, but she smiled gently and let them come close. Slowly, the town started to accept her as one of their own. Rayan and Asera's friendship grew deeper. They spent many evenings sitting by the fire, talking about their lives and dreams. Asera told Rayan stories of Velkaris, about the mountains, the battles, and the stars she once knew. Rayan shared stories of Earth's simple joys, the kindness of strangers, and the beauty in everyday moments. One night, under the vast sky full of stars, Asera spoke quietly. "I never thought I could feel peace like this," she said. "On Velkaris, life was always a fight. Here, I feel something new, hope." Rayan looked at her warmly. "You don't have to fight alone anymore. We are in this together." Asera smiled, feeling a warm feeling in her chest she didn't understand before. It was a feeling of trust and care, different from the pride and power she was used to. But the path was not always easy. Asera's old habits sometimes returned. She wanted to be strong and in control, especially when she felt unsure or afraid. One afternoon, she grew frustrated and raised her voice at Rayan. "You must obey me. I am your mate," she said sharply. Rayan looked at her kindly, but firmly. "Being mates means we respect and support each other. It is not about orders or control." Asera felt ashamed. She realized how her words had hurt their trust. "I am sorry," she whispered. "I am learning." Slowly, Rayan took her hand and smiled. "We are both learning. It takes time." From that moment, Asera tried to be more patient and open. She learned that love was not about power, but about kindness and understanding. She found joy in small moments, helping Rayan fix a broken machine, watching children play, or sharing a quiet evening. One day, Rayan invited Asera to visit the town's festival. It was a happy day when everyone gathered to celebrate with music, food, and laughter. Asera wore simple clothes for the first time, feeling free without her armor. People came up to her with smiles and curiosity, asking questions about her home and stories. Asera felt a part of the community. She laughed with children and helped serve food. For the first time, she felt truly at home. As the sun set, Rayan and Asera stood together, watching the stars appear. Asera looked at him with soft eyes. "Thank you for showing me a new way to live. You have changed my world." Rayan smiled back. "And you have changed mine." Together, they looked toward the future, not as a proud alien and a simple human, but as partners. They knew there would be challenges, but they also knew they would face them together with respect, trust, and love. Asera's journey had been difficult. She came to Earth as a proud warrior, ready to conquer. But through her struggles, her humiliations, and her growth, she learned what it truly meant to be strong. It was not power or fear, but the courage to open her heart. And in the quiet desert, town under the stars, two very different souls found a new beginning, one built on kindness, understanding, and the unexpected power of love.